Shalom, my friend. Tonight, I want to speak to you about something you have probably done many times without stopping to feel the meaning of it. You reach for a lighter, or a match, or a small switch, and suddenly there is a flame, small, quiet, moving gently in the air. For a moment, the darkness steps back, and then most people walk away. They needed the candle for light, or for fragrance, or for a mood in the room, and they never stop to ask what the flame itself is teaching. But in the old Jewish way of seeing the world, a candle was never just a candle. A flame was never just fire. It was a teacher. It was a sign. It was a small living reminder that darkness does not need to be shouted at. It does not need to be argued with. It does not need to be pushed out by force. Light simply enters. And when light enters, darkness begins to move. Tonight, I want to bring that teaching into a place where many people carry darkness quietly. Bill paying day. The moment when you sit with your wallet, your phone, your bank account, your envelopes, your statements, your numbers. The moment when your chest tightens. The moment when your breathing changes. The moment when money stops being an idea and becomes something very real. Tonight's practice is simple. Before you pay your bills, light one candle. Place it near your wallet. Sit with the flame for a moment. And let that small light change the way you enter the moment you have been dreading. Not because the candle will make your bills disappear. No, that is not wisdom. Not because the flame will create money from nowhere. No true teacher should tell you such a thing. This practice is not about escaping responsibility. It is about entering responsibility with dignity, with gratitude, with calm. With the old Jewish understanding that Parnassa is not only what comes in, Parnassa is also what moves through. Stay with me tonight, because this teaching may change the way you sit down to pay what you owe, and maybe for the first time in a long time, that moment will not feel only like loss. Maybe it will begin to feel like a sacred act of stewardship. But first, let us speak honestly. For many people, paying bills is not just a task. It is an emotional wound that reopens every month. You know the feeling. The bill arrives, and before you even open it, your body already knows what to do. Your shoulders tense, your stomach pulls in, your breath becomes short. You tell yourself, I will look at it later. Then later becomes tomorrow. Tomorrow becomes the next day. And the whole time, the bill is sitting there, not only on the table, but in your mind, waiting, whispering, taking your piece before you have even paid it. Maybe you open your banking app and stare at the numbers. You calculate, you subtract, you rearrange. You wonder what can be paid now and what must wait. You think about rent, electricity, water, phone, school, medicine, debt, food, a repair, something your family needs. And somewhere inside, a quiet voice begins to speak. Why is it always like this? Why does money come only to leave? Why do I work so hard and still feel afraid? Why can't I just breathe? My friend, I want you to hear this gently. The dread you feel is not proof that you are failing. The fear you feel is not proof that you are weak. The shame you feel is not proof that you are irresponsible. Sometimes a person can be doing their best and still feel overwhelmed. Sometimes a person can work honestly, plan carefully, avoid waste, and still sit in front of bills with a heavy heart. Life can be expensive. Responsibility can be heavy. And financial fear can sit in the body for so long that even when things are not collapsing, the body still prepares for collapse. So tonight, we do not begin with judgment. We begin with compassion. Because a frightened heart does not become wise through shame. It becomes wise when light enters. And that is why we begin with a candle. In Jewish wisdom, the word Parnassa means livelihood, provision, sustenance, the flow that supports your life. Parnassa is the money that comes in, yes, but it is also the work that allowed it to come, the strength in your hands, the food on your table, the roof over your head, the electricity that lets your home stay lit, the water that runs, the phone that connects you to the people you love, the medicine that helps the body, the school fee that helps a child learn, the debt payment that slowly closes an old chapter. Parnassa is not only receiving, It is sustaining, and sustaining requires flow. This is something very important. Money that leaves your hand is not always money lost. Sometimes it is money completing its purpose. When you pay for the roof over your head, that money did not simply vanish. It became shelter. When you pay for electricity, it became light. When you pay for water, it became cleanliness, health, life. When you pay for food, it became nourishment. When you pay a debt, it became responsibility, repair, a step toward freedom. Fear looks at a bill and says, "Look what is being taken from me." Wisdom looks at the same bill and says, "Look what has been sustained through me." This does not mean bills are easy. This does not mean pressure is not real. It means we must stop calling every outflow a curse. Sometimes the money leaving your hand is proof that provision reached your hand in the first place. The problem is that fear does not let us see this. Fear makes everything look like loss. Fear makes a payment feel like punishment. Fear makes a bill feel like an enemy. Fear makes the wallet feel like a wound. And when a person sits down to pay bills from inside that fear, the whole act becomes heavy. You may still pay what you need to pay, but you leave the table feeling smaller, drained, defeated, as if something more than money has left you. This is where the candle begins to teach. In Jewish homes, candles have always marked moments. A Shabbat candle is not lit because the room cannot be seen. It is lit because the moment must be seen differently. The flame says, "Stop. Something sacred is happening here." The Havdalah candle marks a transition. The Yahrzeit candle marks memory. The candle is small, but it changes the atmosphere. It creates a boundary between rushing and presence, between ordinary time and intentional time, between panic and prayer. So when you light a candle before paying your bills, you are not decorating the table. You are marking a threshold. You are saying, "I will not enter this moment as a slave to dread. I will enter it with light." You are saying, this is not only a financial task. This is an act of stewardship. You are saying, what came into my home will now move through my home with gratitude, order, and dignity. The flame does not change the numbers, but it can change the state of the person facing the numbers, and that matters more than people realize. A fearful person avoids. A calm person looks. A shamed person hides. A steady person plans. A panicked person reacts. A grateful person chooses. So before the payment, before the calculation, before the anxiety takes over, light the candle. Let the flame arrive first. Let the light speak before fear speaks. Let me tell you a story. There was a man named Eliyahu. Eliyahu worked for himself. He had skills, he had discipline, and he cared deeply about doing honest work. But his income was not always predictable. Some months were good. Some months were thin. Some months money arrived late, and bills did not care that money was late. Over time, Eliyahu developed a fear around bill paying day. He did not call it fear at first. He called it being busy. He called it needing the right time. He called it waiting until he had a clear head. But really, he was avoiding it. On the day he was supposed to pay bills, he would suddenly find many other things to do. He cleaned the kitchen, he organized papers, he answered old messages, he fixed things that did not need fixing. Anything to delay opening the laptop, anything to delay looking at the accounts. And when he finally sat down, because delaying could not continue forever, he paid everything with tight hands and shallow breathing. Click, pay. Click, pay. Click, pay. No gratitude, no peace, only survival. When he finished, he did not feel relieved. He felt emptied, like the bills had taken more from him than the money itself. One evening, Eliyahu spoke with his father. His father was an older man, not wealthy, not grand, just steady. The kind of man who had known hard seasons but had never allowed hardship to make him bitter. Eliyahu told him the truth. He told him he dreaded bill-paying day. He told him he avoided it. He told him he felt small every time he sat down with the numbers. His father listened quietly. Then he said, "Your grandfather used to light a candle before he paid his bills." Eliyahu was silent. His father continued, "He learned it from your grandmother. She used to say, 'Before you send money out of the house, bring light into the house.'" Eliyahu almost smiled. His father went on. She would place a candle near the wallet. Then, before paying anything, she would say thank you. Thank you for the roof. Thank you for the light. Thank you for the water. Thank you that provision came this month, even if it was not as much as we wanted. Thank you that we can send it where it needs to go. Then his father said something Eliyahu never forgot. Your grandfather did not call it bill paying day. He called it completion day. Completion day. The day the circuit was completed. The day provision that had entered the home went out to sustain the home. The day money did what money is meant to do, not sit in fear, not become an idol, not become a prison, but move with purpose. The next month, Eliyahu tried it. He found a small white candle in the kitchen drawer. Nothing special, nothing expensive. He placed it on the table beside his wallet. Before opening the laptop, he lit the candle. At first, he felt strange, a grown man lighting a candle before paying bills. But he sat there anyway. He looked at the flame. It trembled a little, but it did not disappear. Then he said, slowly, awkwardly, honestly, thank you for the home this rent protects. Thank you for the electricity this payment keeps flowing. Thank you for the water. Thank you for the phone. Thank you that something came in, and now I can send it where it needs to go. He opened the laptop. The numbers were the same. The bills were the same. The balance was the same. But Eliyahu was not the same. He was still careful. He still had to make decisions. He still had to face reality. But he was not drowning in dread. The candle had changed the room. Or maybe, more truly, the candle had changed him in the room. He paid one bill, then another, then another. And with each one, he tried to name what it represented. Shelter, light, water, communication, responsibility, repair. When he finished, he sat back and looked at the flame. For the first time in years, bill paying day did not leave him feeling cursed. It left him feeling aware. Not rich, not suddenly free from concern, but aware. He had received, he had paid, he had participated in the flow. The next month, he lit the candle again, then again, and slowly something in his financial life began to soften. Not because the candle did the work for him. No, because a man who stops avoiding his finances begins to see them clearly. A man who sees clearly begins to make better choices. A man who brings gratitude into a frightening moment becomes less controlled by fear. Eliyahu began tracking his income without hatred toward himself. He began setting aside tzedakah first, even a small amount. He began speaking to clients with more confidence. He had one conversation he had avoided for 2 years, a conversation about expanding his work and being paid more fairly. The door did not open because of the candle. The candle helped him become the kind of man who could finally see the handle and turn it. That is the teaching. Now let us open the 3 keys of this practice. The first key is illumination. Illumination means seeing clearly. Financial dread makes a person blind. It makes every bill look like an enemy. It makes every payment feel like punishment. It makes every number feel like a verdict on your life. But when you bring light to the moment, you begin to see differently. A bill is not always proof that you are behind. Sometimes it is proof that your life is being sustained. A rent payment means you have been sheltered. A water bill means water has served your home. An electricity bill means light, warmth, cooling, cooking, work, connection. A phone bill means communication. A school payment means learning. A debt payment means a step toward repair. The candle does not pretend the pressure is not real. It simply helps you see the whole truth, not only the fearful part. That is illumination. The second key is sanctification. In Jewish life, we do not leave everything ordinary. We bless bread before eating. We light candles before Shabbat. We mark beginnings and endings. We sanctify time. We bring intention into actions that could otherwise become automatic. Paying bills may seem like the least spiritual thing in the world. But is it? You are caring for a household. You are honoring obligations. You are maintaining shelter, food, water, light, and order. You are participating in the movement of provision. This deserves more than dread. It deserves intention. When you light the candle, you're saying, this moment is not only about money leaving. This moment is about life being sustained. You are turning an anxious task into an act of awareness. That is sanctification. The third key is tzedakah first. This is very important. In Jewish wisdom, giving is not something we do only when everything feels safe. If we wait until there is no fear before we give, many of us will never give. Tzedakah teaches the hand to open before fear closes it completely. Now, listen carefully. This does not mean being reckless. It does not mean ignoring your family. It does not mean giving what you truly cannot give. It means making space, even small space, for righteousness. A coin, a small amount, a percentage that is responsible for your situation. Before you pay the bills, set aside something for tzedakah. Why first? Because the first act sets the posture. If the first act is panic, the rest of the session follows panic. If the first act is gratitude and giving, the whole moment begins under a different light. You are saying, I am not only a payer of bills, I am also a giver. I am not only someone money leaves, I am someone blessing can move through. This is not a transaction with heaven. It is training for the soul. A small act of giving teaches the heart that fear is not the master. Now, let me give you the practice. On your next bill-paying day, before you open the banking app, before you open the laptop, before you open the envelope, pause. Find one candle, any candle. A white candle is beautiful, but use what you have. Place it near your wallet, on the table where you will work. Make the space clean if you can. Not perfect, just clear. Move away the clutter. Let the surface feel respectful. Then light the candle. Sit for a moment. Do not rush into the numbers. Look at the flame. Breathe. Let your body understand that you are not entering a battlefield. You are entering a moment of stewardship. Then speak gratitude out loud. You may say, thank you that provision reached this home. Thank you for the shelter, the light, the water, the food, the phone, and the things these bills represent. I am not here to panic. I am here to complete the flow with wisdom, gratitude, and dignity. Say it slowly. If the words feel too large, say what you can. Even one honest thank you is a doorway. Then, before you pay anything, set aside tzedakah, a coin, a small bill, a responsible amount. Place it in an envelope, a jar, or a tzedakah box. Let giving be the first movement. Then begin paying your bills, one by one, not with hatred, not with shame, with attention. As you pay each one, name what it represents. This is for shelter. This is for light. This is for water. This is for connection. This is for repair. This is for responsibility. This may sound simple, but simple things done with sincerity can change the atmosphere of a life. When you finish, do not jump up immediately. Sit with the candle for a few more moments. Let the room be quiet. Then speak a closing declaration. What came into this home has moved with purpose. I give thanks for what was sustained. I ask for wisdom over what remains. May my Parnassa continue in the right way at the right time, with peace and dignity. Then extinguish the candle gently, not in a rush, not with irritation. Close the moment the way you opened it, with intention. Do this each time you pay bills. Let it become a rhythm, a practice, a way of teaching your nervous system that money does not have to be handled only in fear. Now, wherever you are, say this with me if you can. I do not dread what I owe. I give thanks for what these payments represent. My bills are not only loss, they are signs that provision reached my home. I give first with wisdom. I pay with gratitude. I complete the flow with dignity. My candle burns for clarity, and fear will not rule this moment. Say it again on your next bill-paying day. Say it before the first payment. Say it when your chest becomes tight. Say it when old fear tries to return. Not as a spell, as a return. Before I close, I want to say this clearly. The candle will not reduce your bills by itself. The flame will not add money to your account. Lighting a candle does not replace planning, budgeting, working, asking for help, making hard decisions, or facing financial reality. No honest teaching should promise that. The candle is not the power. The power is in the intention it awakens, the gratitude you speak, the clarity you choose, the tzedakah you set aside, the courage to look instead of avoid. The decision to treat bill paying not as a punishment, but as an act of responsible stewardship. That is where transformation begins. Because a person who avoids money suffers twice, once from the bill itself, and once from the fear surrounding it. But a person who brings light, order, gratitude, and giving into the moment begins to suffer less from the fear. And when fear becomes quieter, wisdom can finally be heard. Wisdom may tell you to change a habit. Wisdom may tell you to ask for better pay. Wisdom may tell you to cancel what is draining you. Wisdom may tell you to face a debt honestly. Wisdom may tell you to stop punishing yourself for a hard season and begin building again. The candle does not do these things for you. It helps you become present enough to do them. That is the Jewish way. Not magic, alignment. Not escape, responsibility with blessing. Not fear ruling the room, light entering the room. If this teaching touched something in you tonight, write these words in the comments. I pay with gratitude. Write it gently. Write it as a promise to yourself that the next time you sit with your bills, you will not bring only dread. You will bring a candle. You will bring breath. You will bring gratitude. You will bring tzedakah. You will bring dignity. And if you want to keep walking with these ancient Jewish teachings about Parnassa, tzedakah, blessing, and the sacred meaning hidden inside ordinary objects, stay close to this channel. Subscribe as a way of continuing the journey. Here, we do not chase empty promises. We return to old wisdom. A wallet, a coin, salt, paper, a psalm, a candle, a table, a small box for giving. Simple things. But when simple things are touched with intention, they can become teachers. And in the next teaching, I want to speak with you about one of the most powerful objects in the Jewish home, the tzedakah box. A small box, often simple, sometimes worn, placed where the eyes can see it, waiting to receive, waiting to teach. The sages understood that money was never meant to stop with us. What comes in must also move through. And the home that keeps a giving box open and visible is quietly declaring, this house is not only a container, this house is a channel. And channels, my friend, do not live by fear. They live by flow. That teaching is coming, and it may change the way you see every small coin that passes through your hand. Until then, shalom. May your next bill-paying day be lit by something deeper than dread. May your candle burn beside your wallet as a quiet sign of gratitude. May your hands give wisely. May your heart pay peacefully. May your home be sustained. And may your Parnassa move through your life in the right way at the right time, with wisdom, dignity, and blessing.